was open, particularly on that slant. That's where they scored their touchdown. I think the one major weakness, they've got an aggressive linebacking core that can get out of position at times.
Coach Salas talked about those drop passes with Mike Stern before he went into the locker room to talk to his Yellow Jackets. And whatever momentum they might have gotten out of that halftime speech, I think it was taken away when Nolan held the ball for almost 6 minutes to start the third quarter. And then ended up turning it over on downs, got an interception, returned it for a touchdown, and now Nolan has clear sailing, it would seem, leading 42-7 with 4:14 to play and forcing a St. Anthony punt. It's going to roll into the end zone for a touchback.
I've seen some of the hardest, lowest line drive kicks tonight.
In golf, you call those stingers.
Yeah.
And that was kind of an unlucky hop for St. Anthony. They got two big bounces there as that football propelled into the end zone.
I think that's some velocity on it.
So now Nolan will once again have the football, and if we've learned anything from what we've seen already tonight, it's that they'll have it for a while. That may be the last time St. Anthony has the football in the third quarter, unless Nolan hits on a long run.
Well, you know, I don't
remember
think
Nolan's got a lot of their reserves in the game now.
They do. They may have broken the huddle with 12 guys here, but
well, that doesn't seem fair.
Well, it's illegal participation is going to be the call. They break the huddle with 12, but Pete, I don't expect them to completely abandon the passing game. I do think they've got to look down the road, and
even though Walden's not in there.
Even though Walden's not in there, I think especially since Walden's not in there, we'll see what they do.
Sophomore
yeah, get him a chance to get his feet wet a little bit.
They keep with the ground game on first down and get across the 25-yard line. This time, running the football for Nolan is Eric Alvarez, a sophomore running back. So they're going with a lot of their underclassmen now.
And we expected them to do that. Coach Burdom talked about wanted to get some new personnel, get them some time in there, and it's good to see. That's the luxury you have as a coach. You can kind of see what your younger guys have. Get them some experience going into next year. Success begets success in this respect, because a lot of teams, they don't have this luxury. They can't get these guys in games like this.
Keeping it on the ground again picking up 5, 6, maybe 7 yards. So the difference between the first string and the second string is the first string gets 17 yards a pop. The second string gets 7 yards a pop.
Yeah, it's a little different.
There you see what Nolan and St. Anthony have done tonight penalty-wise. They've combined for 12 penalties. 11 of those have gone against Nolan for 75 yards. So that's got to be an area of concern going forward.
I think sometimes that can be a very empty stat. I think penalties, sometimes that can be a little bit overrated. I don't think it's the actual penalties and how much. I think it's when they occur and how they occur.
Well, and the other thing is, can you overcome them?
Yeah.
If you're taking these 5-yard penalties, but you keep converting third down, they don't really hurt you that much at all.
And you look up and, we've run for 300 and you've run for 7. We're going to win the game. Hey, we're going to win the game.
We'll take 11 penalties. We'll deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not really concerned about
but
that.
If they're playing a better opponent, it doesn't concern you that they're into double digits now?
I'd want to know why some of those pre-snap penalties is the defensive line, are they barking out the calls? I mean, it's not that it's happening, it's why it's happening.
Some of the stuff they'll be working on this week. Keep it on the ground, hand it off to the fullback on a simple dive play. And that is Austin Busher, another sophomore running back.
Well, you may be right about this. Nolan, they keep this thing into the fourth quarter.
I would not be at all surprised to see that. We saw them go on a long time-consuming drive to start the third quarter, got pretty deep into St. Anthony territory, went for it on 4th and 6, and came up a yard short, turned it over on downs. That's really been the only possession they haven't scored on, other than a possession at the end of the half where they were only able to run one play because of time. But Nolan is rolling. And they've got a commanding 35-point lead right now as we wind down toward the final minute of the third quarter. The Vikings keep it on the ground, and there's running room. They may not keep it into the fourth quarter if Alvarez is able to go all the way, but he's going to be stopped shy of the 10-yard line.
Close to the 15-yard line.
Boy, he's an explosive back. They run this counter play, and he gets into the second level, and he is looking in his rearview mirror. We get a second look at this. It's a nice run.
What makes this counter so successful, Scott?
Well, let's look at it. It's the sophomore. Let's watch it here. You end up pulling the guard and the tackle. All of a sudden, the linebackers are nowhere to be found. I mean, you've got to have somebody come up, and a couple of them got taken out of the play, and he's gone.
Chasing down Alvarez were Chavez and Mayer, and they stop Alvarez at the 15, where it's first down and 10 for the Vikings with 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. Alvarez bounced off a tackle in the backfield, but then gets wrapped up and brought down as he gets to the line of scrimmage. The tackle is made by Kier Vaughns, the 315-pound junior.
Yeah, he's the big heart and soul of this defense.
So that'll take us into the fourth quarter. Nolan adds another touchdown to their lead. They're up 42-7 on the St. Anthony Yellow Jackets. The fourth quarter is coming up next on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Well, sometimes early in the playoffs you get mismatches, and that would appear to be the case here tonight in Fort Worth, where Nolan has a commanding 42-7 lead over St. Anthony, who came in with high hopes, but Nolan quickly doused those expectations of the Yellow Jackets with a dominating performance at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And now as we enter the fourth quarter, Nolan looks to add to their lead. The first play of the fourth quarter is a running play. Once again, up the middle, not much yardage this time. As this time, getting the handoff is Ricardo Cerna, who's a senior running back. They certainly have a lot of running backs in their stable.
You know, and I think hopes of winning this game for St. Anthony were officially quashed when this Nolan team came out and scored on their first 5 drives of the game. I mean, you can do that when you can run the ball this effectively. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a team that is not afraid to put 5 guys up there on the line, make that adjustment, and be able to battle some of these guards and tackles.
Graham Muehlstein will try a 31-yard field goal here that would give Nolan a 45-7 lead early in the fourth quarter. There is a pretty strong wind at his back. The stadium sits down in a bowl. This is just a great setting for high school football, by the way. Just hasn't been much of a game. It's been a one-way traffic tonight. And Muehlstein adds to the Nolan lead. They're up 45-7 now over the Yellow Jackets.
And I love the fact that they were able to come out here and run that, get a field goal for their place kicker. That is so, I mean, that cannot be overestimated, Pete. It's extremely valuable to get everybody playing time. And when you're looking at going into the second, third round of the postseason, and you've been able to get your place kicker out there to attempt a place kick. A lot of teams don't get that luxury. That's nice to have.
We haven't talked a lot about Muehlstein. Scott, he gets great elevation on those kicks. It looks like he could kick a field goal from a long distance. Here's another look at the field goal.
Yeah, if we get another look at it, you'll watch him. He'll kind of take a little hop. He has an idiosyncrasy that you don't see quite often. But when he approaches the ball, he takes that little hop, and then there's the plant, and he gets good acceleration. You know, kicking a football is a lot like swinging a golf club. You know, there's a lot of timing involved, and if you get around it, then you can shank it, you can hook it. There's a lot of golf in a place kicker.
And some kickers make great golfers. Look at Aldel Greco, the longtime NFL place kicker who then went on the Celebrity Golf Tour.
Remember that.
And made a lot of money.
You know, his place kicks used to take left-hand turns in midair. I don't know if you remember that. As a longtime Oiler fan, oh, man, he made me nervous, Pete.
This kickoff is taken near the goal line, and Stone will return it out to the 20. And that's where the Yellow Jackets will begin this drive. 1st and 10, trailing 45-7. So if you're St. Anthony, you'd like to have something positive happen so you can leave Fort Worth without such a bitter taste in your mouth. They did have an impressive touchdown early in the game that made it 14-7 as Michael Meyer completed a pass to his brother Justin Meyer, an 80-yard touchdown pass. It was Justin basically running, getting most of those yards after the catch. And there hasn't been much positive happen for the Yellow Jacket offense since then. There's a look at Michael, the quarterback. Throws another interception. This pass is picked off. Trying to connect on a slant, but Samuel Plummer is there. Plummer picks off the pass, and the Vikings have it at the St. Anthony 19.
Boy, and I got to tell you, Myers had it. Did I mention he's had a tough second half?
It has been tough.
He has not. He just has not been on his game. But things like this is why the numbers are going to be so skewed. I mean, you look at games and the interceptions at this point. Not totally his fault. In a game like this, you're just trying to force things, and he's had to contend with pressure and everything else. And there he is. He's not stepping into his throw and wobbly pass. You got a wide receiver that's covered up and his twin brother.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little confusion there, too. That's just not a good pass, not a good release at all. The defense is going to make a play, though. They get into the backfield and then kind of rough up the ball carrier, Colin Corcoran, or pardon me, it's Ricardo Cerna. Cerna, the running back, and you see the turnovers tonight, 4 for St. Anthony. Nolan's done a good job protecting the football. They have not turned it over tonight.
It was one of the Mayer brothers. It was the wide receiver, Justin, that finished him off that time.
So Cerna in the backfield now.
2nd down at 16.
Still in at quarterback is Sisson, the sophomore. And practically no gain here. Cerna is brought down. The tackle is made by Chris Gutierrez, a 5'11", 190-pound junior. Penalty marker down on the play with 9:41 to play here in the 4th quarter. If Nolan gets up by 40, the clock will run continuously.
Well, one person we haven't talked just too much about, but Brzezinski, remember we saw him earlier. We'll get
fullback.
The fullback.
Unsportsmanlike conduct called against St. Anthony here. So they've not been penalized much, but this one will be a big one, a 15-yarder.
You remember Brzezinski in that first half? He had a couple of runs there. I think number 33. There he is right there. We see 33 on your screen there.
But then at the top of your screen is some of the pushing. And then in the middle of your screen, some more pushing going on.
But that Brzezinski, number 33.
Look on the left side here. It is Gomez, Joseph Gomez, pushing down one of the Vikings that got called for the 15-yard penalty.